Melina Balthrop has been teaching English at Kennedale High School for 28 years. She was Mrs. Watley's sophomore English teacher in the 1980s, and she currently serves as the head of the English department. Although her current official assignment is to teach freshman English, Ms. Balthrop has taught us so much more than just grammar and literature. She taught us the difference between her stapler and our stapler, and how to read by candlelight. She taught us that we are valuable just the way we are. She taught us not to take ourselves so seriously and to find the humor in every situation. She taught us the importance of staying awake during SSR. She taught us that our behavior can be interpreted in different ways and that sarcasm is the best defense against stupid. She taught us how to be there for each other and how to listen simply by being there herself and listening to us. And most importantly, she taught us what playing Scrabble really means. We are pleased and proud to welcome Melina Balthrop as our commencement speaker.
Congratulations to you, the class of 2011. Tonight is your night, and I'm sincerely honored that you are letting me share it with you. If you went to KHS for all 4 years of high school, you probably read, or at least you were supposed to have read, To Kill a Mockingbird. I want us to remember parts of the novel together. The book is full of life's little lessons. When he was 13, my brother Jim broke his arm. When he was nearly 13, my brother Jim got his arm badly broken at the elbow. Harper Lee's Scout Finch opens To Kill a Mockingbird with that sentence. We remember the oddest things. Rather than have Scout explain that when he was nearly 13, her brother Jim and she were nearly killed by a crazy, disgruntled citizen, she begins with Jim's broken arm. As you prepare for your future, one without high school, I hope that you'll remember that sometimes the strangest things stick with us. Still in the beginning of the novel, we hear the following exchange involving Jim, Scout, and Dill. "Hey, how yourself?" said Jim pleasantly. "I'm Charles Baker Harris. I can read." "So what?" I said. "I just thought you'd like to know you got anything needs reading, I can do it." As some of you plan to attend college or move into an apartment, it's good to remember some entertainment is free. Reading can take you places you can only imagine, and a library card provides free travel to places both real and imagined. Dill was proud of being able to read. It's a simple pleasure, and it's okay to be proud of your ability to read. A little later in the novel, Jim invites Walter Cunningham to have lunch with the Finches. You may recall that the novel is set in the Depression, so everyone was poor. However, Walter's family had less than many. Harper Lee writes, "By the time we reached our front steps, Walter had forgotten he was a Cunningham." Seniors, Jim knew how to accept people as they are. Walter had no shoes, and his overalls were terribly worn. Yet by the time they got to the Finch house, he'd forgotten those things. Jim focused not on the clothes Walter had or the fact that he'd failed the first grade once or twice already, but Jim focused on just talking to Walter. Jim had learned the lesson Atticus tried to teach Scout when he told her, "You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it." Both with Walter and later with Boo Radley, Jim climbs into their skin and walks around in it. It is seldom, if ever, wrong to consider things from another person's point of view. When Miss Maudie's house is on fire, Atticus tells the children to stand by the Radley gate. When it's safe to return to their house, Atticus notices Scout has a blanket clutched around her shoulders. He asks about it, and as Jim explains that they did just what Atticus had asked, both Atticus and Jim realized that Boo Radley had covered Scout. Despite the rumors about Boo, he is a good and gentle man. He enjoys watching the children come closer to his home. He leaves gifts for them in the knothole of the tree, and he covers the shivering Scout with a blanket. Throughout the book, Boo is nothing but kind to Jim and Scout. It's with the blanket that Jim finally sees how to consider things from Boo's point of view. Although Atticus didn't really want to give his children air rifles, he eventually gave in to the pleas of Jim and Scout. Both Atticus and Miss Maudie tell the children it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. Miss Maudie further explains that mockingbirds don't do anything except give us music to enjoy. They harm nothing. As you probably remember, Boo and Tom Robinson are two of our mockingbird characters from the novel. I think Harper Lee is encouraging all of us to enjoy the mockingbirds in our lives. I challenge you to look for your mockingbirds. You may find more than you thought you would. When Mrs. DuBose dies, Atticus tells Jim, I wanted you to see something about her. I wanted you to see what real courage is. It's when you know you licked before you begin, but you begin anyway, and you see it through no matter what. You rarely win, but sometimes you do. Members of the class of 2011, as you prepare to move to adulthood, be courageous. Stand for your beliefs and see them through no matter what. Our country is built on that principle. Another lesson in the novel is one Scout learns from the following exchange with Atticus. Cal promised I could come out to her house some afternoon. Atticus, I'll go next Sunday if it's all right with you. You may not. And Alexandra had said it. I said, I didn't ask you. Apologize to your aunt, Atticus said. I didn't ask her, I asked you. First, apologize to your aunt. I'm sorry, Annie, I muttered. Now then, he said, let's get something clear. You do as Calpurnia tells you. You do as I tell you, and as long as your aunt is in this house, you will do as she tells you. Many years ago, when I was graduating from high school, I had the mistaken notion that my days of having people tell me what to do were over. I quickly learned that I was wrong. For the rest of my life, I will have people telling me what to do. Scout learned, and what I eventually saw, is that knowing who sets the rules and then following those rules makes life so much easier. My hope for you seniors is that you learn faster than I did. It will save you a lot of trouble. And Alexandra is the source of much of Scout's discomfort. In the summer of 1935, Scout mentioned inviting Walter Cunningham to their home once school started again, and Alexandra said she couldn't. When Scout pressed her for a reason why, eventually Alexandra said it was because Walter was trash. Scout says she doesn't know what she would have done if Jim hadn't stopped her. In trying to heal the wound of Alexandra's harsh assessment of Walter, Jim was both a friend and a brother to Scout. He told her, show you something if you won't tell anybody. I said, what? He opened his shirt, grinning shyly. Well, what? Well, can't you see it? Well, no. Well, it's hair. Where? There, right there. While Scout never did see the hair on Jim's chest, he did try to make her feel better. He talked with her about what their aunt had said, and he even shares with Scout something he decides about Boo Radley. I think I'm beginning to understand why Boo Radley stayed shut up in the house all this time. It's because he wants to stay inside. Life's little lessons from Jim's attempt to comfort Scout are twofold. First, develop friends with whom you can share your life. Jim shared his 1 or 2 chest hairs with Scout. But equally important, he shared his ideas about Boo. Second, be a good friend, one who doesn't always need comforting, but can also comfort. Near the end of the novel, Scout thinks, neighbors bring food with death and flowers with sickness and little things in between. Boo was our neighbor. He gave us 2 soap dolls, a broken watch and chain, a pair of good luck pennies, and our lives. But neighbors give in return. We'd never put back into the tree what we'd taken out of it. We had given him nothing, and it made me sad. Everyone here tonight has taken something out of the tree. Rather than regretting that we never give back, it's a duty and a privilege for us to put back into the tree. Many of you started giving back in high school by doing community service. Some of you give back by donating blood. Others of you give back by doing work with your churches. For those who've never put anything back into the tree, the world is full of opportunities. Sometimes it's easier to start giving back with a friend. However you do it, I encourage you to put something back into the tree. It will benefit others and it will make you feel great. Harper Lee closes her novel by writing, Atticus turned out light and went into Jim's room. He would be there all night, and he would be there when Jim waked up in the morning. Graduation is an exciting time that's full of promises. Some of you will be going to a college or trade school. Some of you will be working full-time and living on your own. Some of you will be serving our country in the armed forces. Whatever you decide to do, remember to keep those close who will be there all night and who will be there when you wake up in the morning. Some of my high school friends couldn't wait to move out of their parents' houses. They were sick of chores and rules and curfews. Regardless of that, if your parents are the ones who would stick by you no matter what, it's a good idea not to burn that bridge. Whether it's a parent or a grandparent or a guardian, think of that person who always loves you no matter what. Before you tell him or her exactly what you think of the house rules and chores and curfews, remember you're talking to the person who always has your back. I see them in the audience tonight, and they could not be prouder of you. For all 4 years you're in KISD, for all of your years in KISD, your teachers, coaches, principals, and support staff have been there all night. And we've been there when you waked up in the morning. Thank you for letting us be a part of your lives, and thank you for giving me this chance to talk with you tonight. I'm honored for this opportunity. Thank you.
Mrs. Balthrop, you were there in the beginning, teaching us all the communication skills we would need in our high school careers and beyond. And now you are here to send us off into the world to use all those skills. Please accept this plaque as a token of our appreciation for your inspiring words, reminding us of the lessons we learned.
The plaque reads, in appreciation to Melina Balthrop, Speaker, Kennedy High School Commencement, May 21st, 2011.